Okay, hey, look, I wanted to just jump on here real quick on a quick stream to talk about a book that I'm reading called Leadership by the Good Book. Leadership by the Good Book. This is Timeless Principles for Making an Eternal Impact. This book was written by David L. Stewart, who I know personally, and also Brandon K. Mann, who I know personally. And then the foreword was written by Bishop T.D. Jakes. So this is Leadership by the Good Book. Dave Stewart, Brandon Mann, tremendous book, tremendous people. And I'm reading it. It's such a blessing to me. And really, I'm blessed because Dave Stewart, who's the co-founder of Worldwide Technology, where I work. I actually work at Worldwide Technology. And so I'm blessed to know Dave Stewart personally. This is a tremendous man of God. And so he's teaching about doing leadership from the Bible, doing leadership God's way. Let me just share something that I like to talk about when I talk about leadership from the Bible. Once again, I fully recommend that you check out this book, Leadership by the Good Book. He also has a book called Doing Business by the Good Book as well. But let me just say something about leadership, doing leadership God's way. Whenever I talk about leadership from a godly perspective or servant leadership, I like to do two things. I like to use the definition that I learned for leadership a long time ago, which is different than what I learned in the military. In the military, the definition of leadership that I learned was that leadership is the ability to influence soldiers at the time, within the context it was soldiers, but to influence others into the accomplishment of the mission while providing them with purpose, direction, and motivation. And it was like, hey, when I was a young sergeant or young officer, hey, you provide purpose, direction, and motivation. You drive soldiers to accomplish the mission. And really what that definition connoted, that I'm in charge and you're not, and I'm going to tell you what to do. Really, at the bottom line, that's kind of what my takeaway from that was. I like servant leadership. Servant leadership, really a definition that I heard many years ago that I've adopted, is that leadership is a servant relationship which facilitates human development. Leadership, from God's perspective, is actually a servant relationship. If I'm the leader and you're the led, then you're not serving me, I'm serving you. As the leader, I am here to serve you. Leadership is a servant relationship that facilitates human development. The goal of my leadership is to develop you as a human into whoever it is that you're supposed to be. So my assignment is to prepare you for your assignment. Me as a leader, I'm here to build you up, to prepare you, to instruct you, to get the most out of whatever it is that God has deposited down on the inside of you. So leadership is about service. Leadership is about development. And then leadership is also about being submitted. For you to be a leader, you have to be submitted to a leader. Let me use this and then I just close out this quick stream. So I like to use as an example the Roman centurion in the Bible. So a centurion at the time, within the context of Jesus's day, a centurion was a Roman officer who was over about 100 people. So a Roman officer, a centurion, was the equivalent of a U.S. Army company commander, basically. So this person is over about 100 people. And this Roman officer who's in charge of 100 people comes up to Jesus and says, "Sir, hey, listen, master," he actually called him master, "my servant lies at home and he's sick." And Jesus is like, "Oh, okay, well," Jesus is so accustomed to people coming to him and saying, "Hey, I need something. Can you help me? I need something. Can you help me?" That Jesus was like, "Okay, fine. You need something. I'll go help you. I'll go with you and I'll go heal him." And then the Roman officer says, "No, I don't need you to come. I don't need you to come to my house. Matter of fact, I'm not even worthy." Now that was interesting because the Jews were under subjection to the Romans at the time. So in other words, this Roman officer who is going up to a Jewish man, the Jews was supposed to be submitted unto him. He's submitting himself unto the Jew, Jesus, and says, "No, I'm not worthy that you would come to my house." But he says, this is what I need you to do. You speak the word only, and I know my servant will be healed. I don't need you to go. I just need you to say. And Jesus was like, "Whoa, really?" He says, "Yes, sir. I understand how authority works." He says, and the very first thing he said was, when he said, "I understand how authority works," he said, "I am a man under authority." You want to understand how leadership works? I'm a man under leadership. The reason why I am in authority is because I'm under authority. He says, "I am a man under authority." People are under my authority. And those people that are under my authority, if I tell them to go, they have to go. If I tell them to do, they have to do, right? And so I don't need you to go. I just need you to say. What he was saying is, Mr. Jesus, Rabbi Jesus, Master Jesus, I perceive that you have authority over sickness. That's why I'm here. My servant is sick. I perceive that you have authority over sickness. I don't have authority over sickness. If I had authority over sickness, I wouldn't be here. I would be dealing with the situation myself. But I perceive that you, Mr. Jesus, Rabbi Jesus, Master Jesus, you have authority over sickness. And I understand how authority works. Whatever is under your authority is subject to your words. If I tell anybody under my authority, go, they have to go. If I say it to somebody who's not under my authority, go, they don't have to go. But anyone who is under my authority, if I say go, they have to go. If I say do, they have to do. Why? Because they are under my authority, and I exercise my authority with words. So, Mr. Jesus, since I perceive that sickness is under your authority, I don't need you to go. I just need you to say. And if you would say it, I would just take it at that. All I need you to do is say it, and I know that the sickness has to go because I perceive that sickness is under your authority. And Jesus looked around and said, my God, I haven't found this type of faith. This man has great faith. No one in Israel has this kind of faith. This man has great faith, right? Why? Because he would take God without seeing it. He would take God just at the declaration stage. And then he also understood how authority works. How does authority work? Well, for me to be in authority, the first thing he said was, I'm under authority. For me to be in authority, the first thing he said was, I'm under authority. If you want to be a great leader, if you want to lead by the good book, if you want to apply biblical principles to your daily life as it relates to being a leader, then you got to understand that the greatest way to lead is to submit. Your authority comes from your submission. The more you are submitted unto God, the more godly authority you'll be able to exercise in this world. Develop yourself as a leader. Check out this book. I'm telling you, this book by Dave Stewart and the other one by Dave Stewart, both are a tremendous blessing. Check out the books, but really make a dedication right now. Determine in your heart that you're going to develop as a leader, that you're going to do everything that you can to become the leader that God has called you to be. And really, for you to do that, you have to be submitted unto authority. Your authority comes from your submission. God bless you.